Daf of Torah summary. So this is the first Maimer Vayechi on the blessings of Yaakov. So Yaakov first blessed, he gave a instruction at least to Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, and then turned his attention to Yehuda, and he said, Yehuda te יודוך אחיך, that Yehuda, your brother, shall praise you. Now this idea of the word יודוך, to praise you, is actually very much connected with the name Yehuda in general. The word Yehuda or Heda has multiple meanings. It means thanks or praise. It also means admitting. It also means relates to humility. So there's a lot of meanings here in the name of Yehuda, and they're all related because it takes humility to admit or to thank, to notice the other, and focus on them. So we say and that's also this idea, and it's actually the Jewish people are called Yehudim, which is the idea of Yehuda of bittul and thanksgiving, and the word Yehuda, the yud in the beginning, is because yud sometimes means constant, so we should be constantly in this state of bittul, of self-nullification, and of thanksgiving. So now, in order to get to this state of Yehuda, we first need to go through Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. So Reuven, the word Reuven means vision. Reuven, see my son. The idea of vision, what do you see? When you see something, it's close to you. It's very real. And that's like ava. Ava, love, is when you're close to someone, then you feel love to them. And when you really understand them, then you like them. So that's the idea of love. Shimon, hearing is from afar. It means that you're not there. You're just hearing a report. Or you can't see exactly, but you can hear it. It represents that you're distant, and that relates to yira, reverence. When you're far from someone, then you become very proper and reverential. You don't know them in an intimate way. That you're afraid, or you realize that they're far beyond you. Again, it's about distance. Then we come to Levi. Levi is about bonding, and the way to bond with Hashem is through Torah, because the Torah is Hashem's chachma, it's Hashem's wisdom, but it's being brought down into this physical world in a way that we can learn it and understand it, but it still remains Hashem's wisdom. So now, this also relates to the different in davening, where we the main goal in davening is we're developing and awakening a love of Hashem. And that's the whole idea of Psukei Zimra and Yotzer, the first bracha before Shema, all about arousing a love of Hashem. And then ultimately we get to Shema, and hopefully with our neshama, a flame, and wanting to come close to Hashem and yearning to get beyond in order to come close to Hashem. And that's why Leah named Reuven, because she said, Ki roa Hashem bani, Hashem has seen my affliction. That the idea of Reuven is an ava that comes from being afar. So when a person meditates on Shema, and how Hashem is one, and even beyond that, Yachid alone, and nevertheless, so Hashem cares for us. So there's two meditations here. One is that it's the only real thing is Hashem. Everything else is not real. There's one real thing, that's Hashem. And secondly, Hashem still cares for us despite us being so low. So these ideas will bring him to Ava, love of Hashem, and that all he should care for is Hashem. And when he has this love, it's not only the nefesh elikis, but it's b'chol avavcha, with his whole heart, meaning with both his nefesh elikis, his godly soul, and his nefesh bahamis, his animal soul. That even when he's within the place, within this physical world, a place of time and place, so he has love for Hashem there, and on the contrary, more love because he's coming from afar, and therefore there's this transformation of the darkness of the physical world, which conceals Hashem, to be an even greater light. Now that's the idea of Reuven. Then we come to Shimon, which is V'haya and Shemaya, and like that's why it starts with Shemaya, if you listen. And there, there's warnings. If you don't behave yourself, then you're going to get in trouble. Be careful. So there's these warnings, and there's punishments, and that's in V'haya and Shemaya when we're from afar, and that's the idea of Yira. And therefore it says about Shimon, Shama, that Hashem heard Kisno Anochi, that Leah says that I am disliked. And this is the idea of reverence, which is connected to being, disciplined, restrained, being disliked, there being a problem. So this is all connected. Then after Shema, we move on to emes v'yatziv, where we say it's true and this is the way it is and this is what I like, and 15 times in a row, basically the same idea. So this is the idea of, and then we say, what is so important? This thing, this matter. What is this matter? It's Torah. And the Torah is the way that we bond to Hashem. And although we can't really, as much as we want, we can't really lift up to Hashem. We're just physical, limited earthlings. But now that Hashem has given us a part of himself with Torah, so now through learning Torah, we have a way of connection. And that's the idea of Levi, which means to bond and connect. Now, all these levels are within Mamale. They're all something we can try to achieve. We work on ourselves. But then Yehuda connects to Seva, beyond energy. And that's because we're not working on our own avoda, the different components of our spiritual makeup. It's just Yehuda is just a simple state of bittul. And that state of bittul, self-nullification, just lets Hashem shine through without any limits. But in order to get to Yehuda, we have to start with Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. Otherwise, we'll have the obedience without the fully internalizing it to allow our whole self to just be a kli for Hashem to shine. And that's the difference between the bittul of there's bittul in Malchus and bittul of Chachma. So Malchus is bittul just following instructions, whereas Chachma is bittul that it lets the subconscious shine through. And whereas Hashem really found, like it says with Eliyahu, when he ran away to Sinai and there was all different things he saw amazing natural wonders, he saw fire and earthquake and a tornado, but that's not where he saw Hashem. He saw Hashem, where was Hashem? In the kol t'mamataka, the soft silent voice that came after those other things, because all the passion of Reuven, of the Ava, doesn't count. It's still mamale. Where do we get to Sovev, the beyond energy? In the soft silent voice of Yehuda. And this is through the continuation of the blessing. Your hand is on the back of the neck of your enemies. The enemies is all the pleasures and interests of the physical world that distract us from Hashem and try to appear as if they're real. So we have to conduct ourselves with them in a way of if it's just the back of our neck without any real involvement. We're just eating in order to live, not because we're excited. And this, we can achieve all this through b'nei avicha, the sons of your father, that avicha can refer to either rachamim, mercy, like Ava Rachman, and that's through giving tzedakah, or Av, as in chachma, the father and mother is chachma and bina, and therefore it refers to Torah. So through Torah and tzedakah, then we're able to achieve this high level of bittul. Okay, that's the mimer, and then the beer, which goes along most of the same points. Mentions already in the previous mimer, mentions about the lion in the Merkava. The word Arya is the same letters as Re'iyah, vision, and about how although Bittul, Malchus is the lowest level that comes after and receives from all the other spheres, but also it's the highest. Malchus becomes Keser, the beyond energy. And that's like the king who everything he has, he receives taxes from the people, but still then he becomes the leader and the one who governs the people. And then, so after we go through these, the first paragraph of Shema, Reuven, second paragraph Shimon, and then emes v'yatziv Levi, then we don't interrupt. It says you don't interrupt between Geula and Shimon Esrei, between Gal Yisrael and Shimon Esrei. We go straight into Shimon Esrei of Yehuda, because Yehuda comes off the back of these first three levels. Now, sometimes Yehuda is in an inspired state. Sometimes it's bittul with fully internalized full body experience. Sometimes it's just simple obedience, right, where we're getting involved in biyah, getting involved in the worlds of darkness in order to refine them. And we are assisted through b'nei avicha, through the especially the right in the center. The right is tzedakah, and the center is Torah, Reuven and Levi, and this assists us with getting to this state of full bittul to Hashem. And Reuven, his ava comes through Hashem seeing his difficulty, his affliction, and that's the idea of birurim, which is refinement and shuva, which will come from being from afar. And when closeness that comes from being afar is deeper than a regular closeness, like the advantage of light that comes from darkness over a regular light. This concludes the Maimer and Beer, Yehuda יודוך.